No, I don't think so. It's very, very important to me that when you're sworn into office, that you stand and take an oath. That is very, very important to me and very meaningful to me. My opponent has talked about impartiality and said that she could be very impartial. To insinuate that someone could not be impartial because they took a campaign contribution from an attorney, to me, is absurd. When you look at the broad base, if anyone happened to see last Sunday's paper, a partial list of the people in our community that support me and pledge their support to me, including some of the leading attorneys in town, as well as other leaders of our community, including the general public, as well as leaders in our religious part of our society. So, to me, when an attorney wants to make a campaign contribution to your office, indicates that that particular person wants to know for sure that they're going to have fair and impartial judgments rendered in that court. My opponent has always, since she started running, talked about impartiality, and she has made the comments about landlords, made the comments about how landlords have to be compensated. If they have a deadbeat tenant, they're out. Well, that indicates to me that her mind is already made up and does away with any impartiality. She has also written on her Facebook that her legal tip is never plead guilty or no contest to a ticket. I can help you keep it off of your record. That indicates the inability to be impartial to me. I'm out of time.
Well, let me first address what you said. I believe that every attorney is going to say, plead not guilty, and I will help you. That is, in fact, the justice courts, we have to arraign people. And the judge has to arraign people. You plead not guilty. I am telling you to go get an attorney to help you. That is what everyone that is ever charged with any crime should hear. And if I'm doing my job as a defense attorney to tell my friends on Facebook, plead not guilty and get some advice before you plead, then forgive me, because I think that is absolutely the most correct thing on the face of the planet to do. But as far as, tell me the question again now.
It was, does the acceptance of campaign funds from attorneys pose a difficulty?
I don't think it does at all. It really doesn't. Being a defense attorney, first of all, attorneys are probably the cheapest individuals, as you probably know, on the face of the earth, because to get an attorney to open their wallet, God, it's hard. But I never did give that many contributions to judges because it made me feel a little awkward sometimes when I'd be in their court. But if I did, and I have in the past, it would be because I respected that judge for what he believed in and his impartiality. There are some judges right now that are running in some of the higher courts. One in particular, I won't say who it is, he's probably one of the best judges out there. And I gave, before I decided to run, because we're not allowed to give contributions to any judges, but this was way before I decided to run, I supported him. And I support him in my mind and in my heart because he is impartial. And I know a lot of attorneys, in fact, probably 95% of the defense attorneys and the prosecutors are coming to me and saying, Susan, I hope you win, I hope you win, you're the most impartial, you're the best one for the job. I'm not going to print them in the paper. I don't think it's necessary. But I don't think it's anything wrong to get their support. They just know that I'm good at what I do, I know the law, and I'm impartial. And that's all that is to it. It doesn't matter if it's an attorney that comes into your courtroom. If you take a campaign donation from a supporter and he comes in and he's a defendant, then you're put in the same situation as you would be if it's an attorney. It's down to how good of a job can you do and why did they want to support you?
Thank you. Rick?
Okay. And let me, before I forget, briefly respond to the scenarios that she pointed out about if someone comes into court who's not an attorney but who has contributed to the judge. I also will recuse myself in a situation like that. If someone comes to my court who's given a campaign contribution to me, I will find another judge to hear the case. I'm the odd man out on this particular issue. I don't accept contributions from lawyers. This is not something that's aimed at Judge Hanson or anyone here. This is a policy I had when I was a justice of the peace before. Because and the point is, it's not about, like I say, it's not about Judge Hanson or any other judge. It's about the person who walks into the courtroom expecting the highest level of impartiality and fairness. I want them to know when they walk into the courtroom, I want them to come into the courtroom knowing that they are going to have the maximum amount of fairness and impartiality. And this is just a policy that I think is best for me. When they walk in the room, they will know without a doubt that if there's an attorney on the other side, the judge has not received a contribution from that attorney. Ms. Riley made a comment that I think is relevant. She talked about how it made her feel awkward when she went into court when a judge when she's given money to the judge. It adds a factor in the courtroom that, in my opinion, shouldn't be there. I think if you ask most people if they had a choice, 2 courtrooms to hear their trial, in one case the judge has received a contribution from the attorney involved, in the other case that hasn't happened, I think most people are going to say, I prefer that second case. It is legal to contribute to judges. It is not a violation of the ethical rules. In my opinion, that doesn't make it right.
About 40% of my support this election has come from attorneys. 4 quick names: George Thompson, Bill Wiskemper, the late Floyd Holder, and Don Graff. If any of you called these 4 attorneys and asked them to represent you in justice court, they'd laugh you out of the room. These are high-dollar, really good attorneys. They contribute because I've known them, they respect me, and they know the kind of work I do, but they never practice in my court. It's a First Amendment right for an attorney to be able to contribute, and as Rex said, it is legal. If you eliminated people who took contributions from attorneys, you'd start with Rick Perry and go all the way down to the 2 precinct chairs. Everyone in every race, with the exception of my opponent, takes contributions from attorneys. They're not buying influence, they're contributing because they respect the office or respect the job you're doing. I was the 2007 Texas Judge of the Year. I've been involved in a lot of state things, and I'm well respected in the community. I'd note, Rex is the first real opponent I've had since I took office in 1990. Why, in these times when I'm uncontested, check the record. I don't have these big contributions from attorneys rolling in these off years. If justice were for sale, wouldn't you think I'd be getting 10, 15,000? It's also kind of laughable because JPs have to literally beg somebody to give them a campaign contribution. It's not justice for sale, and I think it's cynical and sordid to insinuate that I wouldn't be fair and impartial. I've done this for 20 years. Attorneys who have contributed to my campaign have been in my court. I've ruled against 2 in the last 2 weeks. One that contributed to this campaign lost his case against a pro se litigant, a person without an attorney. That's because the facts weren't in his favor. I will always rule that way. With me, it's God first, family second, judge third. All are important. I am a Christian, and I would never, ever, ever be for sale. And contributions do not enter into my mind in any type of case.